This week's movie pick of the week is No Laughing Matter, and we're going to talk about award season once again. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Film Critics Weekly right here on the Popcorn Talk Network. I, of course, am Scott Menzel, and I am excited to be back with Demetri Panos,
Yay!
who is my co-host for today.
Very excited. Awesome. Thank you.
So, you might remember about 2 weeks ago, me and Demetri started talking about award season, and we were talking about every single movie underneath the sun that was going to be released, and we had to end the show because we just couldn't get through. Yeah, we just couldn't get through everything. And then last week, Wendy was here, and we talked about some different movies. But what we decided to do is we decided to break award season down by studio. So we're going to be talking about 3 different studios today and what their potential movies are for award season. But before we jump into that, we need to talk about the movie pick of the week, because last week we did not have enough time to talk about the movie, and then it kind of got the shaft near the end. So we do want to talk about that. But before we do that, we have to talk and introduce Demetri Panos and where they can find him.
I was going to ask, is it Demetri and I? Instead of me and Demetri? I don't know.
I don't know.
Who
knows?
Hey, folks, it's great to be back. Thank you for having me back.
Problem.
I'm glad that we get to do a part 2 of the Academy Awards. Yes, very proud and honored to be part of LAOFCS and to be here sitting with you to talk about movies. You can also find me as an occasional host on Meet the Movie Press, and then on the newly resurrected from the ashes like a phoenix, Anatomy of a Movie is back, and today, of course, taking a deep dive into Joker. And on the social medias, I'm on that Twitter's at Demetri Panos. That's it. At Demetri Panos. That's DEMETRIPANOS.
Okay, so just to kind of get the ball rolling real quick, we want to open up the show. We want to announce the movie pick of the week, which is going to be Todd Phillips' Joker. Congratulations, Todd Phillips. Congratulations, Joaquin Phoenix. Everyone at Warner Brothers, you have made one hell of a film. So we're going to do a very short review, because if you want to see a really fleshed out review, I'm going to be on Anatomy of the Movie today, and we are going to do a very deep dive into Joker, a movie that I have seen 3 times. But for this show, we want to talk a little bit about it because it is the movie pick of the week. So for those who have been living underneath a rock for the last 3 months, Joker is the latest comic book movie that's not really a comic book movie, based on the character, the Joker, played in this film by Joaquin Phoenix. This movie basically showcases his character before he becomes Joker, and that character is Arthur Fleck. It shows how society has been treating him and what led him to become the Crown Prince of Crime. So, Demetri, what are your quick thoughts on this film?
Quick thoughts are, I really love this movie. I think that it is the best DC has had to offer cinematically since the Nolan years, and in part because this particular movie does not play like a comic book movie, as you said. This movie plays like a dark, gritty, complex, unsettling at times crime drama, like those movies made and filmed in the 70s. In fact, it's in the setting of this story, or the time, is 1981, but it feels very 70s-ish. And that's on purpose. And I think it was brilliant to put it in that time period for many reasons, but most importantly because doing it that way, you are able to hold up a mirror to today's dystopian fractioning of society, societal dystopia. And that, to me, it was brilliant. Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Arthur Fleck, it was everything that you've heard about his being an amazing performance. It's true. He should for sure get the nomination. Could be a front runner right now. It's very early to tell, but he is amazing. It's great to see somebody like Todd Phillips who we know from comedy. He's directed some great comedies, to do something so completely different. And he's able to pull it off because I believe of his love, his appreciation, his respect for cinema. I mean, this is cinema. This is a movie you see on the big screen. It is beautiful to look at, albeit it's dark in tone, and it's the type of movie that we don't see a lot of today that you did see a lot of in the 70s when it came to very gritty crime dramas. I cannot stress that you see this movie in a theater, go in with an open mind. I can tell you, I knew very little outside of the trailers. This movie delivered something to me that was unexpected, and I loved it more because it wasn't what I thought it might be going in. This is not an origin story. To me, it was a journey into the depths of chaos and mental insanity.
Yeah. I have to comment on pretty much everything that Demetri said. This is a phenomenal film. I don't use that term loosely. This is a must-see movie of the year. This is one of the best films of the year. This is a movie that demands that you watch it over and over and over again. I've seen this movie 3 times already. I would go back in a heartbeat to see it a 4th time.
May I interrupt you just for a second? How often do you see movies 3 times in a theater prior to, like, through its release? How many?
Very, very, very limited.
Right.
And normally, and I will say this, normally the type of movie that I will go see on repeat is a movie, and I know you disagree with me on this, but a movie like Greatest Showman for me, because it's a feel-good film.
Sure.
Something that makes me feel good, and it's enjoyable to watch.
I'm the same way.
Joker is not an enjoyable watch.
No.
But it is something that should be studied, and that has so many layers. And anyone who thinks that this movie doesn't have layers and that it's not nuanced, they must have seen a different movie. And I normally never get like that, where I feel like people have missed the point. But there's having seen it 3 times, I picked up on something new every single time. This movie, you don't even know how much of this movie is really happening. Like, how much of it could be going on in someone's mind. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot of the movie. But, like, when you rewatch this film, you see scenes a little bit different, and you say, oh, maybe this is this, and maybe that was reality, and maybe this was fiction, and maybe this was in his head.
You pick up on things too that make it a richer experience, because the initial shock value, it leaves you stunned. It left me stunned.
Yeah.
Speak for myself. It left me stunned at the end of the movie, and walking away, driving home, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I saw it again. I've seen it twice within 1 week. The second viewing for me, it got better.
Yeah, and I mean, for me too. It's every viewing that I saw it with different people. Everyone had different reaction to it. Ironically enough, I have not been in a theater with anyone who has not liked this movie. It's weird because I saw it with my wife at the first screening. She really loved it, and she thought it was a fascinating take on mental illness and how we treat people who are lived impoverished lives and things of that nature. Then I saw it again at the BFCA screening, which was supposed to be the premiere, and I saw that also with a different audience, and it was Simon was there and he loved it, and Nikki was there and she loved it. So a lot of people walked away from this movie really loving it and wanting to talk about it. And what I think makes this movie so incredibly special, even if you really come out of it and you say, I think this is a terrible film and it's dark and it's horrible and like it paints this horrible picture of society, it gets you talking. And if anything can be said about a movie nowadays, is that you want a movie that you can talk about. Because I feel like outside of, it's ironic because it's a comic book movie, but it's not. Like everyone talks about comic book movies, and that's really that, and Star Wars. Star Wars are comic book movies. Those are the movies that always everyone talks about. But this, I feel like it's almost like they knew that they had a better story to say and to tell. Better story to tell.
Right.
And that they used the character of the Joker.
Right.
to tell that story because they knew it would get more eyeballs and it would start a conversation.
Right.
Because, like you said to me on the phone, and you said earlier today, this movie could be about anyone. It could be about Tom, Dick, Harry,
you can
Jill,
call it,
Sally. It doesn't matter.
You can call it Mike.
Yeah.
And not have a person put on makeup. It really is, you're following a character, and it's the descent of a character. And you follow this through this movie. It's 2 hours, which is a wonderful time because it never overstays its welcome, but you are drawn in and it's mesmerizing. But it's a sucker punch.
Yeah.
I mean, it is dark. And it's dark unlike movies that we have seen recently because it tackles so many issues, I feel, and that is what draws me in. Like, great movies to me are those in which you can plug out the plot of that movie and you could make this a science fiction movie. You could say that this is science fiction because what great science fiction does hold a mirror up to society. But I also think going back in the time of being 1981, by doing that and not setting it in present day, what Todd Phillips has done and his co-writer Scott Silver is they have made Joker timeless because it is in a period before that everybody understands the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, going into the 80s, but it's not today. So today, if we're looking at it, you can pick on things and call it political or whatever. But this, being that it's in in this past, it's a time capsule almost. It makes it timeless, and the way that it's shot is brilliant. And they just did a really great job in making a crime drama that is very rated R. It's very adult. It's very dark. There are no epic fight scenes in this movie, none whatsoever. And some may be. Oh, and also, look, I'm just going to say this. There's no Batman. There is no Batman in this movie. Yeah. That's the only spoiler that I'll give you. No Batman. And it really, truly, when you watch it, you'll say, wow, you're right. This is of the vein of those movies of the 70s. It looks that way. It was purposely shot in a way that of films that they watched and were influenced by. And it's so many levels and layers, and it's deep, it's complex. It doesn't just beg for conversation. It brings conversation out. Like you said, if you don't like it, you can talk to somebody and go, what did you think of this? And why? Those to me are the best movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, there's just something about this movie that's special, not only with the story that it's telling and the statements that it's making, and of course the performance that you've heard about, but I think you can look at cinematography and costume design and the score, the use of music. This is really a full movie, a movie that has everything, and that the people involved with making this movie knew that they had to create this world, that an all-encompassing world that just like you get sucked up in. It's absorbing and intense and mesmerizing and uncomfortable and
it's
brutal.
A deep, dark symphony.
Yeah,
that's operatic. It's tragedy, a little comedy maybe. But yes, you're correct. All the cylinders are working. This is truly a collaborative effort from everybody, and everything clicks. We talked about it on Meet the Movie Press. I love to see people like Todd Phillips, who was known for comedy, to do movies like this, just as much as I like David. Now I can't think of it. Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green.
Yeah, David Gordon Green doing Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Doing a horror movie. Directors can tell a story. Great directors or excellent directors can tell a story in any genre. Scorsese has proven this. Spielberg has proven this. Coppola has proven this, that you can tell a great story, whether you're man or woman. You should be able to tell it within any genre. Robert Wise was a director that shot many genres, and those are the stories that are worth discussing.
Absolutely.
So There you go.
So, Demetri, what would you give it? We give a letter grade on the show.
I would give it a letter grade. Well, it's an A. Yeah, it's definitely like an A. My finger reviewing system, which goes from one finger to 5 fingers, 5 being a high 5.
Yeah.
This movie gets the high 5. So this is definitely. Do you do A pluses and minuses and stuff? Yeah, I would say that this is right at that A plus. Mark for me.
I would, it's weird. I normally only give out 1 or 2 10 out of 10. That's usually my rating system. On this show, we're doing a letter grade. I'm going to agree with Demetri. I think this is in my top 3 of the year right now. It gets an A plus for me.
Yeah,
it gets an A plus.
And the thing is, A pluses should be rare.
You're 100% right.
No, they should be, because we can like good movies. You can like a good B movie, and I don't mean B movie as in cheap, but it could be a B grade movie.
Like Maleficent is like a B movie.
I would give it a B grade.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
But A pluses or the high 5, those should be rare. Not every movie need be great, because it cheapens great. It cheapens what an A plus means. So you can have an A, an A minus, a B plus. We still should go to those movies because you have a good time.
Yeah.
You have a good time. I will say, this isn't necessarily a good time. There is an entertainment factor, but it is dark.
Yeah.
So.
And one last thing. Both of us fully recommend this film. Definitely check it out. Try to go in. I know I'm fall victim to this too, which is why I'm so thankful that I saw it at the Toronto International Film Festival. Try to go in with an open mind when you see this movie. I know that there's been a lot of things said about this film, both positive and negative. Go in with a clear mind space. Try to enjoy it. Form your own opinion. I can't push that enough. Don't say, well, David Ehrlich said this, and Scott Menzel said this, and Simon Thompson said this, and Nikki Novak said this. Go in and form your own opinion. I think it's very important, especially for a film like this, that you're going to hear a lot of conversation about for the next 3 to 4 months. So definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Couldn't agree.
Yep.
More.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our award season conversation for today. Demetri, let's start off with Amazon Studios. Let's talk about the negative first. I mean,
okay.
They're leaving off late night, as well as Brittany runs a marathon from their awards campaign. How
Couldn't be more disappointed.
Okay.
To be quite honest with you, I really enjoyed both movies very much. Let's start off with Late Night first. Emma Thompson's performance in that movie is so award-worthy.
Yeah.
She's a great actress to begin with, but what she accomplishes a comedy almost like a stand-up. She's a female David Letterman. She's acerbic, she's witty, razor sharp, and she's very funny, but then she can turn very dramatic, as we know Emma Thompson can. She's really brilliant in this movie, and I'm very sorry to hear that Amazon is not going to be pushing this, because I thought it was a smart script. It really bridges the gap and talks about ageism, and bridging this gap between someone who's been doing a job and has experience, and then you have like this millennial come in, try to shake things up, and there's this wonderful controversy, but it can work together, and you still don't lose your edge. And the relationship too, John Lithgow is in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Who's great. I remember watching this movie going, wow, this is a nice gem. I really hope people go out to see it. They didn't seek it.
And what's weird about this movie to me, of course, besides the performance, is that it feels like a film that's so relevant to Time's Up and Me Too now. like the whole plot of this movie basically takes place in a writer's room, where it's a male-dominated writer's room, and Mindy Kaling is the only female writer, and she wins over Emma Thompson's character and becomes her go-to writer. And if that's not relevant to every conversation that's been going on for the last 2 to 3 years, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre to me, because I know the movie didn't have a strong box office.
No.
They should have known better, though, considering the fact that Mindy Kaling is known for TV work. And a lot of TV actors don't translate over into film. And it takes them time to develop.
Absolutely.
And she's always been a supporting minor character whenever she's been in a film. So to kind of make her take center stage, it's tough. So I thought that was like a big mistake. They spent so much money at it out of Sundance, but I thought they would give it a little bit of push.
I thought that they would give it a more TLC as well for everything that we talked about. You're so right, and this annoys me about this Me Too because this is what's talked about.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's only talked about maybe here because women, if you're going to support movies, there are other movies other than Hustlers that you'll really enjoy. But it's like audiences weren't supporting this movie, not just women, but women, like you would think. I mean, look, it meant something to me. I got it, and it made perfect sense. The characters had an arc throughout this movie as well. They learned something of themselves. It was a smart script. So, it was sad to me that the audiences didn't go up because if this movie had been released in, say, the 80s, it would have been, or maybe even the 90s, it would have done much better.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I really do.
I do. I agree with you.
It had those sensibilities.
Yeah. And then the other one that they're leaving off is Brittany Runs a Marathon, which is mind-boggling to me because this movie performed better than they expected. They pushed this movie out with a smaller budget. I don't know how much we can reveal about this. We know we as insiders know some of the stuff about this. That they were gonna completely drop it. They were actually even contemplating not giving it a bigger push because of how bad Late Night did. And this is the movie that actually wound up doing fairly well. It's been playing and it's in a lot of theaters and it's having a decent run. It's not having like an Avengers Endgame run at the box office, of course not, but it's having a solid run. Jillian Bell is phenomenal in it. This is again using that term again because this is the best performance that I've ever seen out of her, and it's her first time as a leading lady, and she is just terrific in the film with a layered performance that has so much depth and so much to say. And the supporting cast too is all great, and this is a feel-good movie, but it's a feel-good movie with a message.
It's a feel-good movie with a message. You're so right about Jillian Bell. I was blown away by her. I was a fan. I'm a fan of Jillian Bell. I think she's a great comedic actress, right? But to see her in this movie, this is where she blooms. Literally, she shows audiences and Hollywood she can act.
Yeah.
Still be funny, but she can act. She carried the drama parts to this movie, and that's what I was most concerned about. Can she do this? She did. She ran with it. No pun intended. It's sad because to me, for Jillian or Ms. Bell, because I don't know her, just out of respect, this was a very nominatable performance in the actress category, which right now to me it's still up in the air.
Oh yeah,
and we just talked about two women were more than fantastic in their roles.
Yep.
And again, this is yet another movie in which the character has a clear arc. There is an A part, a B, and C to this movie. Those are the smart movies. Those are the movies in which the screenwriter really takes the time to write things out and make it a smart transition. Yes, it is based off of Brittany is a real person. The other thing that was great about her performance is Brittany is not a likable character.
Right.
Brittany is not this likable character, yet you're still captivated by her, and I think it's because of Jillian Bell. And then, yes, at the end of the movie, you are rooting for her. What is wrong with rooting? What is wrong with feeling good these days? I know we talk Joker, but this is the exact opposite of Joker. There's nothing wrong. And women, this is a woman who's an inspiration. She still runs this New York Marathon. Inspiring. People come, I loved going to movies like this. We all loved The Karate Kid, where, the underdog story, and you want to cheer for somebody and root for somebody. Brittany was that character for me this summer. It's too bad that they're not going to.
I agree.
Push it.
I agree.
Sad.
So we're going to probably skip over some of these because we didn't see all of them yet, but I do want to just give a full list of the movies actually going up for award season from Amazon Studios. And that's The Aeronauts, Honey Boy, One Child Nation, The Report, Seberg, Invisible, and Les Miserables. I think I want to make one statement about this real quick. France picking Les Miserables over Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Did not see either one of them, just to be on the record. Seems like a mistake. Just throwing that out there because Portrait of a Lady on Fire has had such buzz from the Cannes Film Festival, from Toronto Film Festival, now in the New York Film Festival. I have not heard a bad word about this movie, and I have not heard anything about Les Miserables.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I'm with you. What is this, like the 20th release of a Les Miserables movie?
And that is why I think it's going to hurt. Because
yeah, I agree.
Even if it's told, the spin on this movie is that it's told in a modern day time. Again, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's amazing, but I just don't feel that buzz. It played places. I didn't hear anything about it, so that's not a good sign in my eyes.
No.
So
I agree.
So that was a strange thing, and Neon has Portrait of a Lady on Fire. But, going through this list now of the movies that I've seen, Honey Boy is obviously going to be the big one, I think, for Amazon this year. I think out of all these movies that they are pushing,
right,
I think Honey Boy is the one that they can push the hardest from a directing standpoint, from an acting standpoint, both best actor and best supporting actor.
And I would even go as far as say screenplay.
Yeah.
For this movie, for Honey Boy. Saw this at Toronto International Film Festival, and literally it surprised me as to how good it was. This is, let's make no mistake, this is Shia LaBeouf's mea culpa movie. This is I'm sorry, Hollywood. I've been through therapy. I'm getting a lot out, and the only way, in my estimation, that this movie works is if Shia goes out and pushes it. He needs to be going on to Ellen and things, and he needs to be saying, "This is my look. I was a jerk. I messed up." This movie sort of gives reason for this, but the performance, he plays his dad. His performance is probably one of the best of his career. The little boy who plays Noah Jupe was fantastic. Yeah. And it's all within this world of Hollywood, and you kind of understand. But most importantly, from a screenplay and from a performance, he holds no punches. He puts it all out there. Good for him. This, I hope, is the start of his second chapter, but he really, I think, for this movie to get any traction, it stands on its own as a good movie, but he needs to go out and stump.
And I agree. And, coming off, there's a movie that came out earlier this year called The Peanut Butter Falcon, right, which also starred Shia LaBeouf. And it was a very small release, but it gained a lot of traction. And it did fairly well. It was actually our movie pick of the week that it was released. And I was shocked that movie became the movie pick of the week because it was a very busy weekend. That being said, that movie had such strong word of mouth, and people really started praising Shia LaBeouf in that film because he was also really great in that movie. He's even better in Honey Boy. So I agree with you. I think they need to put him front and center. And I know the director, who's been incredibly active since Sundance, and she's been very supportive of film critics. She's been amazing.
Yeah, I was just looking her up actually on IMDb. I have to. I was just looking up her name because she did something that was pretty awesome. That after I did quick tweet reviews. And I gave Honey Boy a really solid review. And Alma Harrell,
Yep.
She liked because I would hashtag or add Honey Boy, I hashtagged Honey Boy. She liked it. she retweeted it. I always find that sweet and kind because that means that the people are paying attention. And when you retweet from little old me, like, who has like 10 followers on Twitter, I mean, it means a lot. And as a fan of movies, I love it. And again, it was a movie. I wouldn't write good about it if I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And I really meant everything that I said. And it's really worth seeing. She could get nominated. It's there. I think this is Amazon's best movie because it's got the star quality. You can go for screenplay, acting. Look, it would be great if Alma gets out there. Shia really needs to stump for this.
Yeah, he does. I agree. Another one that I saw that's been a big conversation, focus of conversation this year is The Report.
Mm-hmm.
The Report, of course, is with Adam Driver. It's an inside look at the government and a cover-up. Again, very fitting to this time. It involves stuff that happened in 9/11. I forget the exact details. But I don't think this movie's going to do well. I also don't think that this movie should be a push for Amazon as much as they want it to be, because we've seen a lot of these types of movies. It's kind of like with Spotlight and The Post and things of that nature. There's been like one of these, and then we have Focus, which we'll talk about a little bit later, Dark Water, another movie about government cover-up. There's too many of these films. And with this movie, this one doesn't really have the entertainment value to go along with it. It's a very much like heavy, you have to be wide awake. It's all about like reading paperwork. Do you believe what they did? Blah, 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 blah. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And that's not going to sell to an audience. And I think even though Adam Driver is fantastic in it, his last couple of years, I went from not liking the man to being a huge fan of the man. He is just incredible in the film, but that's it. I mean, I don't really feel that this movie has that much of a push. You can talk about this with me, and I will take my bias and I will say anyone who knows me knows that I love Kristen Stewart. I've been a big fan of Kristen Stewart, a big supporter of Kristen Stewart, and I love Kristen Stewart in this film. But this movie, Seberg, is a mess of a movie, and you should have put Brittany Runs a Marathon or Late Night in this slot if you're going to push it for award season, because I have no idea, outside of trying to push Kristen, who is already for a very small audience, why you would even pick this movie to push.
I don't know. To me, Seberg it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it has all the elements of a great movie. You have Inside Hollywood. This is an actual actress model who is in How the West Was Won, I believe.
Yeah.
She was in some movies, perhaps even Airport.
Yes.
She was popular. She was beautiful. And then there's this, because she gets involved with the Black Panther, the CIA, FBI get involved, and so you have this you have this intrigue from the government. You have Inside Hollywood. This should have been suspenseful to an extent. We should have seen the glamour of Hollywood juxtaposed to the white Spartan government and how they're attacking this woman. Like, this should have been a fantastic adult drama for the holiday season, and we got Seberg instead. And it was too bad, because I think I didn't know the story. And I'm sitting there going, wow, this is truly a fascinating story, like, to be told. How does it go awry? How did it go awry? And
it's the direction. And it really is the direction of the movie.
Not only did you have Kristen Stewart, and she is fantastic in this movie, but the movie leaves her nowhere. But you also had Anthony Mackie, who could put in it, like, all these people are putting in these really, like, they didn't show up for just a paycheck, but yet they were just left like on their own.
Zazie Beetz was in this, remember?
Yes, that's right. And again, it was sad to me, because all of the elements of a good movie were there. And it was, the heyday of Hollywood, great, beautiful actress. espionage, spying on this, you know,
Paranoia.
Yeah. And it's a story that should have been told, and even the true story itself ends on a mystery as to whether she was murdered or it was suicide, and there are all of these things. It just plays like a bad TV movie.
And
sadly.
Sadly. That was like when I saw that movie still in the lineup after seeing it at Toronto and seeing the negative buzz out of Venice too. I was sort of like, wow, they're really still pushing it? Like, what do they owe these people? Like, I don't know. Maybe they owe the director something. I don't know, because to me, the movie fails because of the directing and probably the writing. But I would blame the director more, because you could take the script had that element, like you were saying. There's enough there that in the right hands, even if it was a weak script, someone could like tweak it a little bit, because I don't know if people know this, but directors and producers do take scripts and they do change things about them. So it does happen, which is why there's like usually a director's cut, a producer's cut, and things of that nature. So someone could have made this amazing. Yeah,
there's a great story in there. It's in there. It's just not out there.
And you had all the right elements. I mean, the style and I mean, like even like some of the
production design.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It was there. It was. I walked out, and the best part of the movie for me is that I actually got to see it in the Shape of Water theater.
Yeah,
that was like the best part. I took great pictures inside of that theater and going, wow, this is the Shape of Water theater. This is great.
Yeah. And then the last one I want to talk about for Amazon before we move on is The Aeronauts, which to me is a definition of a big screen movie. One of which that I heard Amazon is putting directly onto their service and giving very little big screen treatment to. And I know you have your opinions on it, but we won't get into them today about that. But
it need be said. It does. Every review, please, I don't mean to interrupt, but every review on the Aeronauts just like reflected what you said. Every review, regardless, and whether they said it was like they said this movie need be seen on the big screen,
because you would turn it off if you watch it on streaming. I hate to be that guy and say that. It is a movie that's made for the big screen, because you don't get the sense of adventure on the small screen. You need to see that hot air balloon go up and the scope, and as the camera pulls back and feeling like why they're cold and why they're going through all this stuff. Felicity Jones is great. Eddie Redmayne is great. You know, we've seen them in Theory of Everything. They have wonderful chemistry. They bounce off one another perfectly. But this is the movie that deserves that big screen treatment, the IMAX treatment. And it's a crime that I think it's getting like a 1 or 2 week run in order to qualify for campaigns. And really, the only person who they can campaign this movie for is Felicity Jones. Yeah. She's the only one. Eddie Redmayne has done better. He's not bad in the movie, but it's her.
I just always like to see him play different roles. Like, I love him in the Harry Potter universe because he was playing such serious roles. It's like, lighten up, buddy. This movie, again, I only seen the trailer, and again, everybody says needs to be seen on the big screen. Like, please look it up on Rotten Tomatoes and count how many times you see must be seen. Movie's okay, but you really do need to see it on the big screen. That's not just a push. Like, I will say that because I love cinema. I love going to the movies. I will say that because, yes, I do deserve movies like Joker, and even late night good comedies. You see it in a theater, everybody laughs. You're just in this great environment. But when you read it in the reviews, it tells you something.
Absolutely.
Amazon, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Going over to Focus, Focus has a very light year this year. Downton Abbey, Harriet, and Dark Waters.
Right.
You saw Downton Abbey, so you can talk a little bit about it. I saw Harriet. Harriet, to me, is one of the biggest, I won't say disappointments because that was it, chapter 2. But another word for disappointment, letdown, missed opportunity is Harriet. Despite a phenomenal, once again, using that word 3 times on one show, performance.
We need to get a thesaurus.
Yeah. I need to get it.
It's going to be a Christmas gift.
It's that buzzword for today. Jesus, I've said that so many times, and it's like a word I very rarely say, which is kind of funny. But again, fantastic, deep dive performance. I don't know, like captivating. The lady who played Cynthia Erivo, I think her name is, who plays Harriet. Just wonderful work. The movie is a Lifetime movie. I mean, This is the most generic script and the most generic storytelling. The visuals don't fit the tone of the film. The characters are played almost like cartoon characters, where like it's like oh, the racist character is so incredibly racist, and it's just like almost a character. It's not really a character.
Right.
Caricature. Character. Yeah. Am I saying it wrong?
You're saying character. Caricature.
Okay. Yeah,
caricature. Caricature. We'll get you a dictionary too, so that you can. We'll get you a thesaurus and a dictionary.
Yes,
so Cynthia Erivo.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be seeing this next week,
Okay.
I believe.
She's really great in the movie, but everything else is just a train wreck.
That's sad.
Yeah. All right. Go to Downtown Abbey.
All right. So Downton Abbey. We covered this. I covered this with Kit, also a member of the LAOFCS. We covered this on Anatomy of a Movie. This is a movie that I had not. That I went into without having seen just any episode, not any episode of this going in. I knew my wife really loved this. She loved the telenovela. She loves the era, right? And it had this soap opera quality, and plus it distracted her during a time of need. So I appreciate Downton Abbey for that. But I had not seen an episode, so going in, I didn't know what to expect. Man, did it really surprise me. It gave me something that I really didn't expect, a pretty decent movie. And so for Focus, I think what would be fun to see, because I researched this movie, is to see Maggie Smith get nominated for Best Supporting Actress and then get the award for her performance here, which would be a lifetime type of an award, I think, too. But then she would have done the trifecta. She would have gotten an Emmy for it, a Golden Globe for it, and then the Academy Award for her performance. She is, we love Maggie Smith. She's had an amazing career, but she is so phenomenally brilliant. And I know that people who love the show know this already of her character. Again, first-time person. I was like, yeah, she's brilliant. Like, she's so acerbic, and she cuts. Like, you get a paper cut from her dialogue, you don't even feel it until you're bleeding. And you're like, whoa, what was that? So that's what I would like to see. Cinematography, it was filmed fine, script fine, but I would really love to see the push for Maggie Smith for the Oscar. Supporting. Yeah, I really think that it would be deserving, and she's worthy of it. And it would be nice to give her, like, you're not giving it to somebody just to give it. Her performance really is good.
Yeah.
So, and it's worth watching, and it would just be nice to see her get that trifecta.
And then Dark Waters, not to be confused with Dark Water, the Jennifer
Connelly movie.
Yeah. This is the Todd Haynes film that tackles water and corruption and all the fun stuff. Very Aaron Brockovich with
Aaron Brockovich, but the John Travolta.
Yeah, what is that movie?
Civil Case.
Is that what
Civil? Not Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah, I think it's Civil Case.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because
with John Travolta, which took place in Massachusetts. And that was another
Civil Action. There we go.
Which Civil Action, and that movie also dealt with a company contaminating water. This one is a DuPont, I think, in Dark Waters.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I feel like Focus, and I hate to say this, Focus, because again they've been huge supporters of LAOFCS, and I've really rooted for them a lot. They are the studio this year that has the weakest lineup. They really do. I think they're going to struggle to get any of these movies in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see Dark Waters yet, but it looks good. Mark Ruffalo might squeeze in, but it's just there's nothing fresh about it, you know. And I think which is what made Harriet to me so disappointing is that it's the first time that we see this story on the big. This is the first movie about Harriet Tubman.
Right.
First movie
ever.
And like, you normally don't get a second chance if the first movie doesn't do well, because people look in the history, that's how Hollywood works, and they say, well, this didn't do well, let's not make another one. And I want it to do well just for the simple fact of that. But Dark Waters, to me, looks like something that we've seen before. The performance might give it that push it needs. But other than that, I don't really see much of a conversation starter for this.
I just want to start real quick. I know this movie tackles the DuPont family.
Correct.
Yes.
From Delaware. It's interesting because Mark Ruffalo was also in Foxcatcher, which also dealt with the
DuPont family.
Yes.
That's an interesting thing to point out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean,
and he's a good actor all around. He was also in Spotlight.
Right.
Another one of these investigative kind of movies. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, my vote is go Maggie all the way.
Yeah.
Go Maggie all the way. And the movie is actually really worth watching. It surprised the hell out of me, but I liked it.
Yeah. Moving over to Neon real quick. We don't have much time left, but we want to talk a little bit about this. I would like to read these off first.
Sure.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Parasite, Manos, Loose, Honeyland, Clemency, The Biggest Little Farm, and Apollo 11. The one that I was very surprised to see on this category, in this category at all, but I'm happy is getting an award season push, of course, is Loose, movie that I've loved since Sundance, and I actually went out the other night and I supported an award season event for it. I'm kind of, I think this is like a rare underdog this award season. I unfortunately don't think it's going to get anything outside of maybe a Spirit Awards nomination.
Sadly, again, it is definitely one of those movies this year that that people should have gone to see, because as we talked about Joker, where it deserves conversation. This movie deserves conversation. So topical. Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Right. Again, he was phenomenal in this movie.
There you go. We're all using the phenomenal award today.
It's just it's osmosis because I'm next to you. So it really he's such a magnet. Like, you cannot. He commands the screen with his personality, his charisma, right? And his character is so shifty. Like, what is he? And his parents. I thought everybody in this movie was great. Even Ma.
Octavia Spencer?
Octavia Spencer. She made good for Ma. I mean, like, again, I'm not fans of Ma, but Octavia Spencer in this movie, she was great. And again, just shows how great of an actress she is. This is one of the smartest screenplays that is so topical of today.
It's adapted too, which is great because it was a stage play first.
Yeah, and it kind of plays that way, but there's so much going on this that you don't know who's who really and what they're going to do. And the duplicity of some characters is crazy to me. It was almost like a noir mystery kind of thing. You didn't know how this was going to end. To me, Loose definitely. It was one of the better films that I've seen this year. Yeah, potentially make my top 10.
Oh,
easily.
I agree. Star-making performance for Kelvin Harrison
and then
Jr.
he's got Waves.
And then he's got Waves, which we will talk about on another show. But he's great. I do want to give. We need to give a little bit. I know we don't have much time left, but I want to give a big shout out to the foreign film that is going to probably end up with a Best Picture nomination as well this year, and that, of course, is Parasite. This is a film that you probably, even if you're not on film Twitter, have probably heard something about at this point, because it is one of the most chilling and engaging and mind F's of the year.
It's an amazing satire of society.
Yeah.
And it's of today. It really is of today. Yeah. It was so well done, and at the same time, it was entertaining.
Yeah. And it starts off as a drama. There's some comedy. There's some thrills in it. And the biggest takeaway for this, and this is what I think is the most important thing to say about this movie, it is completely 100% subtitled. Mm-hmm. And I know for a lot of people, that's a turnoff. Mm-hmm. I know that was a big turnoff with Roma. I know that's a big turnoff with a lot of foreign films. This is a rare film that I know people who hate reading subtitles who have come out and said, I didn't care. Mm-hmm. It was engaging. It kept me on the edge of my seat.
Gripping.
Like, yeah. It's that good of a movie that you don't care that you're reading the entire film.
Nope.
Because you're so into what's going on with the twists and turns.
Yep.
And you never know what's coming.
Nope.
And the trailers, I thought originally the trailers may have, given too much away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't, because I've seen them now after seeing the movie twice. Definitely does not give anything
I can
away.
definitely go for seeing that twice. I know we're out of time, but I have to give a shout out to Apollo 11 for documentary. This is a movie. I'm a good space buff. This movie is like watching the Apollo 11 lift off with brand new eyes. The time and care taken to get all this. It literally is a found footage documentary in the truest sense. And what they were able to piece together is quite amazing. And talk about inspiration. It is everything that First Man was not. This movie really did show the plight, the work, and the inspiredness that these astronauts and the country as a whole had. What this did for our country in that time period is amazing. We're celebrating an anniversary this year. That's why it was released. It's a CNN film. I know CNN has played it. I wish you could have seen it on IMAX if you hadn't. It was gorgeous, stunning, and inspirational to show what we can really do and achieve if we put our minds into it and we do it together.
And I think it might, Apollo 11 and Honeyland, both being released by Neon, both being pushed for award season, both documentaries. To me, documentaries have not, after the last couple of years where I feel like a lot of the movies that I was talking about were documentaries, this I feel has been a weaker year for documentaries.
Agreed.
So hopefully these two will make the cut for award season and get those nominations.
Agreed.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think of these three studios, which ones you think they should push for award season in the comment box. I am Scott Menzel. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheOtherScottM. And you are?
Demetri Panos. Find me here at Anatomy of a Movie on the Popcorn Talk Network. Meet the Movie Press, and right here at LAOFCS as an occasional guest, and on the Twitters at Demetri Panos.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the movies.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.